Hi!
Hello!
This is Faye and Caroline here today with a review of
Bombmaker!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
By Claire McFall.
Before we actually start anything, I feel it's important to mention that I am ill and Caroline is not so
Tired.
well.
Poorly.
So this might not be the whoop 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 crazy video that we usually have for you.
However, we are once again caffeinated, so anything could happen.
Yeah. Anything.
Or not.
So, synopsis.
Britain is in economic crisis and the English government has closed the borders with their Celtic neighbours. Any Celt found in England is branded with a tattoo. Found twice, they are executed. Scottish Lizzie is the property of psychopathic London gang boss Alexander. Don't you call him Alex. Used as his bomb maker, she is under his protection, but also at his complete disposal. Can Lizzie escape Alexander's deadly grip? Can she? So, I was really excited to read this book because, like you, I absolutely loved Claire McFall's debut novel.
It's tucked in the back. We're good.
Somewhere.
It's behind these
in
books.
there. Anyway, Ferryman, absolutely amazing, and I really loved how she created such an interesting atmosphere and world building and character interaction, and really it was just two characters, and so I was really excited to see what she was going to do with Bombmaker. And
It was awesome.
It was also absolutely completely different. I don't think you could get more different from her debut novel. Still absolutely amazing tension there. I pretty much started holding my breath at the start of this book. And I don't think I breathed properly until I turned the final page over. So I may have damaged a few brain cells somewhere along the way.
Was there any brain cells left to damage?
Well, some could argue not.
I was ill, so I couldn't breathe properly for hours either. No, I'm joking. I wasn't ill when I read this book. I got ill afterwards. It's like I was holding my breath the whole time reading it, and my body was like...
She did herself damage. Claire McFall. It's your fault.
Oh no, don't say that. Claire's
it's
lovely.
not. It's not.
I really liked the book. I found it really compelling, and I mean there were a few things that irritated me a little bit. But it was good, it was entertaining, and it was tension filled, as she's already mentioned. But it was the kind of thing that I would see, like that's what I want a dystopian to be about. It was a proper dystopian. It was well good. What? The other thing I thought of, kind of, maybe, I don't know, it was kind of bordering on either a crossover YA or an actual new adult book.
Very violent and very...
There's lots of sexual references. Like, crazy.
There are lots
Not like...
No, there's no actual kind of... you don't read anything, but there is lots of hints at. But also kind of very dark and twisted and kind of uncomfortable sexual situations.
Yeah.
And I found it really disturbing, actually, the control that Alex had over... Alexander. That Alexander had over Lizzie.
Yeah, no,
So
I
definitely would say it was more. It was definitely more an adult read.
Yeah. No, not just from the character stage. Like I wouldn't say that was what made
just
it.
very
It was everything
dark.
else. Yeah.
I think as well because there was just a real ring of truth to it. Because it was set in the UK and because it involved our borders and because it was related to the financial crisis, it just felt a bit more real than some of these other dystopians that are set much further in the future with some kind of major catastrophe has occurred. It just felt
scary real.
And I think that makes me more inclined to think of it as more of an adult read because it was harder to divorce what was happening with as a kind of, and put it into kind of a box of fantasy dystopian.
I agree. I definitely think like that's half the tenseness of it is the fact that this could actually happen. I also kind of like the way that it was sort of like gangstery, like a gangster book as well as a dystopian. And you sort of had like, because she had a crime boss type thing. And so what were your thoughts on Lizzie or Elizabeth?
I found it really tricky because I liked her enough that I found her a likeable character, or rather I felt sympathetic towards her despite all these horrific things that she was involved in. And obviously I think the author created the story in such a way that we were supposed to feel empathetic and sympathetic towards her. However, I did have a bit of an issue with the fact that despite the fact that she was coerced into doing these horrible things, she still nevertheless had a choice to do them. I don't begrudge her survival instincts, but I did feel like we could have spent a little bit more time considering the implications of her actions. On one occasion she feels guilty, but it passes within, well, the span of a page or two.
A night.
Yeah. And in another situation where she could kind of own it and take control, she kind of chickens out.
Yeah.
So
I could go on a little feminist rant now.
go on, do it.
I love the character. I think she's a great character. She was strong and she was reliable and like, she was a bit cutsy. She was a bit like, kept making mistakes, you know. And then she's renowned as this amazing person at doing this stuff, and yet every single time we see her doing this stuff, she makes a mistake. That doesn't seem like someone who's well renowned for being good at something. But also she's seen as this strong person, this really strong character, and you do see that come across. But she never really does anything for herself. And I understand that like in dystopian it's a bit hard to really do that anyway. But she relies on other people to get her out of situations, and I just feel like, have some balls and do it yourself.
Her strongest character attribute, and also her biggest flaw is her survival instinct, and so she's going to survive no matter what, no matter who she has to stand on, blow up, whoever gets in her way, and she will use whatever she needs to use in order to survive.
And there was one scene where she actually did that, and I was like, yes, she's getting some balls. And then she rings someone for help, and I'm like, you could have just carried on going, got there yourself, and it would have been absolutely fine. But no. So we talked about Lizzie. Let us talk about Samuel.
Yeah. I thought he was one of the more interesting characters. He definitely had this kind of dark and brooding, mysterious thing going on, and it would have been nice to kind of hear a bit more from him, learn a bit more about him, but obviously that's the whole point of his character. I think out of all of them, well, maybe not all of them, but I think he probably made a bigger sacrifice overall. He actually made choices, and he owned his choices, and he stuck by his decisions. And he admits that he's not always a nice man.
I agree. I thought he was an interesting character, and he definitely brought something extra to the book. And I like that even though he did have big decisions to make, he still talked about them with like Lizzie and stuff, and he knew his actions were wrong, and he knew he was a bad person, and that was sort of why he was so dark. But he also knew that he's doing it for a reason, and he doesn't like the reason he's doing it for, or he doesn't think it's a reason enough. And I think it's just a really nice look at a character who is in a horrible situation and is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and is just doing his best to stay human while stuck there. I think that was really nice. Alexander. Not a nice guy.
No.
He's like crime lord, big evil guy.
Proper nasty piece of work.
You don't get to see a lot of him and why he's the way he is. But again, you could sort of understand it anyway, because he's also a power hungry person. And he's the kind of person that when he's angry he doesn't shout. He will speak softly.
Which is infinitely more scary.
Very cross with you without actually being cross. What do we think of her writing style? I loved it. Oh my god, it was so clear. It was so amazing. She has this way of like,
she just completely immerses you in her world, and at no point do you kind of ever question the reality of it. I shouldn't have been surprised, because we had Ferryman and we're in a completely different world, and a completely unique scenario, and then we've got a dystopian, and although they're so very different, they are so completely believable and absorbing, and I never once questioned what I was reading.
Jealous. Guys. How could you possibly write, a story with two characters and nobody else in the entire book, right? And it be amazing is one thing, but then to then go write a completely different with lots of different characters and still have that same feeling, that same amazingness. It's her style. She managed to get you into the characters. She managed to make you see the world as believable. She's done her research, and I love that. That was really cool. And you just... She grabs you, I guess.
And her dialogue
feels
so authentic.
You can just imagine everything so well. And yeah, props to Claire McFall. Basically, Claire McFall is a legend.
Amazing.
And although there were flaws in her plot, in my personal opinion.
It's truly tricky because I completely understand, I agree, at some point we wanted Lizzie just to kick some ass. But
despite all that,
the fact that she didn't was also in keeping with her character.
But despite all of that, it's still an amazing read. An amazing read. Yes.
Yes. So, in conclusion,
Claire McFall is awesome. Lizzie is a very complicated character.
She is.
But she's still a good character. Samuel is dark and mysterious and awesome.
But still.
Alex is evil in the most evil of ways.
Scary.
The plot is so intense and exciting and thrilling.
And also, the world building is completely realistic and believable.
Yes.
And it's so different from her previous book, and yet still so awesome.
So that's like... And what would be A?
And we will be pre-ordering anything else that she chooses to write.
Yes. And...
Read it.
It's a series.
It's a series!
There's more to come!
It's a series!
It's a series!
Oh, maybe Lizzie will kick some ass in the next book.
I'm really hoping so. And the way that ended, you could tell it's going to be a series. You're like, there's something going to happen!
I'm so excited now!
You should buy it when it comes out in February because it is amazing. And you won't be disappointed. I'll be buying it again. I've got proof. I've already given my proof to someone else because I thought it was that good, and I'm now going to buy the book when it arrives because it was just fantastic. Now, drum roll please. Our next book is Drummer Girl by Bridget Tyler. Woo. And it's pretty pink pages. La. So, if you have read this book, do let us know what you think. If you want to read it with us, do let us know. We'd love that. Yeah, and then comments below for this video. Have you read Bombmaker? Did you like Bombmaker? Would you be reading Bombmaker based on our crazy review?
Have you read Ferryman?
Oh yeah! Tell us about Ferryman. And if you haven't read Ferryman, do it.
Do you have any cures for the common cold? Comments below.
See you later, guys. Bye.
And action!
Oh, is it filming? She's breaking my bookshelves again. We should just move forward. Okay, hold on.
If you're ever worried about your TBR pile,
oh great,
take comfort in the fact that Faye has how many? 356?
Something like that.
356 to be read books on her to be read shelf. No,
Shelves.
It's not to be read shelf, it's to be read bookcase.
I have a to be read bookcase, a to be read bookcase, a to be read bookcase, and a to be read shelf. So that's 3 bookcases in one shelf. What?
See, we did get overexcited despite your sickness and my tiredness.
It was good.